Hello, I'm Brian C. Mears, and this is Beneath the Dot, a series where we investigate some of the more complex pieces of artwork that I've put together over the past decade. Today we have Dragon's Bridge. Now this piece came from a couple different points of inspiration. For the past year and a half or so, I actually was doing a series of paintings of portals on top of a semi-famous print that came from Ikea. They were actually discontinuing the print. I bought out the rest of what they had here at the local store, and then I offered that to my patients in my office and painted them custom portals within that space. So there's where the rope bridge piece comes in. We've also worked on an oracle deck with Gene Church here recently, and in there, one of our favorite designs was actually a nautilus shell spiral, so I wanted to make sure that was in here as well. Dragons, of course, speak to me all the time, and light language speaks to me, so I needed a space to be able to enter into a new vibrational frequency, to cross the bridge into the portal, to gain access to the dragon island, all while being supported by two very strong guardians. I'd love to be able to share some of the details with you, so let's dive on in and see what this piece contains. Let's get into this. So here's the Dragon's Bridge, the original. And because I drew it on the spiral, we're going to investigate it on the spiral today. So we'll just walk that rope bridge right on into the center. And we have a spiral there. I based this off of a nautilus shell as far as the spiral and all the little compartments that come from that space. We can see around it we've got a Vesica Pisces that's created by dragon's tails, plural. And then as we're coming around the spiral here, there's light language on this purple line throughout the entire piece. So zooming on around here, we can see the light language, some of the dragon's tails coming up through there, some light language on the trees with some vines, kind of a foresty aspect, some fireflies, maybe stars, who knows with me. All right, coming up a little bit higher, we've got another Vesica Pisces, and we're going to look at this in just another moment here as we come around again. So there's a dragon's tail that's wisping off through the spiral as we're going through it. A little bit of the dragon's claw there. Coming around more forests, finally down into the beach and into some cosmic clouds that are there. That's a dragon's back that's humped there above the clouds. Crossing the bridge again, there's the other dragon's back. And now we're coming up with some crystals along the side of the island. And one of my favorite pieces shows up. This component itself, the dragon's pearl, took me about 3 hours to draw, was done with a much smaller pen than everything else, and just sings to me for whatever reason. We can see some of the light language in the trees there. I'm going to pause just a moment on our spiral and zoom out just a bit here and point out that we actually have another dragon head that's here. So I mentioned this upper Vesica Pisces, that's the dragon's eye. We come down across the ridge, here's the nose, up to the snout itself, the dragon's mouth. This is the lower jaw here. All right, so I got a dragon that's looking this way. And if we look to the other side, I've got the exact same thing. Still the dragon's eye with the snout, there's the nostril, comes into the mouth. So then we have a dragon that's also looking this way. So Dragon Island would also be another name for this piece. All right, all the light language up in here happens, and then we finally get a chance to be able to introduce ourselves to the dragons here. Moose antlers seem to be absolutely necessary. This piece spoke very loudly to me that it wanted moose antlers, so that's what we went with. This is a light language dragon, and you can see all of the codes going down the entire spine and across some of the scales there. Here's the other dragon's pearl. I believe I drew this one first, also about 3 hours to be able to create that sucker. And as we're zooming out, we can see the dragon's back leg with some more light language codes on it. So as we pull all the way out here, we can see that actually the dragon over here comes down. There's his legs, goes underneath. Here's a little bit of a hump. It actually comes up, and here's the tail for that dragon. This other dragon over here does the same thing, but just in reverse, so he's looking that way. So each dragon is basically making their own circle, giving us the Vesica Pisces there. A little bit of wiggle room in it, but it works nonetheless. Thank you for joining me today for this episode of Beneath the Dot. Please like and subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, my friends. Be well.